accounts without power. There have been 635,000 restorations since Hurricane Milton hit Florida. The areas that have the most significant outages as of this morning are Hillsborough, 75% out, Hardy, 97% out, Manatee, 82% out, Pinellas, 68% out, and Sarasota, 75% out. Of course, there are 50,000 plus linemen that have been pre-staged. A lot of what they'll do this morning is likely assess the damage and then begin restoration operations very quickly. And we appreciate everybody that's in that fight because that's very important for a lot of people. Cut and toss have begun at first light by the Florida Department of Transportation. 328 crews are active in the field with over 350 pieces of heavy equipment and trucks. 150 bridge inspectors were dispatched at first light and have begun performing inspections to open bridges across the impact areas. As I put in my executive order, residents have a right to be back into their homes as soon as the roadways are deemed safe. In Tampa, the Gandy Bridge and Howard Franklin Bridge have been inspected, cleared, and are open, and inspections of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge are underway. There is debris on the Sunshine Skyway as well as the Courtney Campbell, but once that debris is clear, we anticipate those bridges opening later this morning. Other bridges are being opened as soon as the state inspections are completed. The Tampa Airport is repairing minimal damage and should be open no later than tomorrow. Seaports are awaiting Coast Guard channel surveys to reopen waterside, but as of now, our initial assessments is they will likely be able to resume operations very quickly. We still have a lot of school closures for today. I think Floridians should just keep in contact with their local officials about what that's going to be. I would imagine a lot of the schools that were not necessarily in the direct path of the storm will be open tomorrow. It may take a few more days for some of the places that were harder hit. Now, as you survey damage and clean up, please be cautious of hazards. We have post-storm fatalities almost every storm, and a lot of these fatalities are avoidable. So please be cautious of downed power lines. Don't touch them. Don't remove tree debris that may be entangled with downed power lines. Standing water can conceal downed power lines and other hazards, so please be mindful and never walk through storm waters. Standing storm waters can also carry a bacteria that can lead to fatal infections. This type of infection was responsible for a fatality following Hurricane Helene, so please avoid wading through standing water. Please use proper ladder safety. Please use proper generator safety. Do not operate the generator inside your home. It must be outside a safe distance from doors and windows. Visit Florida's emergency accommodation modules on Expedia and Priceline will remain available for those who are returning to their homes, which were evacuated during the storm and sustained damage or in need of other type of shelter. So these models will continue to provide real-time hotel availability and lodging resources, making the experience easier for users. If traffic lights are out in your area, please drive with caution and treat each light as you would a four-way stop. And also remember, if you're going to use a chainsaw, be very careful with that. We have mishaps on that after every storm. We are extending the Hope Florida line for another 2 weeks at 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if you need assistance or resources post-storm, you can call 1-833-GET-HOPE, 1-833-GET-HOPE. Hope Florida's disaster arm, Activate Hope, is a program designed to help people find help following a disaster such as a hurricane. So you can call the Hope line. You can also visit the Hope bus, which will be in some of these areas very soon, and there'll be announcements about that. Florida Commerce and the State Emergency Response Team activated the Business Damage Assessment Survey in response to Hurricane Milton. Business owners can self-report physical and economic damage caused by the storm. Businesses can complete the survey online at floridadisaster.biz, floridadisaster.biz. Florida Commerce has also activated the Small Business Emergency Bridge Loan Program. We have $50 million available to Florida small businesses, and it's a zero interest loan, very flexible repayment options. You can apply for loans of up to $50,000 through the program. Loans of up to $100,000 are available for agriculture and aquaculture small businesses, and loans of $150,000 are available for citrus and cattle operations. Again, these are short-term zero-interest loan. You get the cash in your hand. The repayment terms are very flexible. You can apply at www.floridajobs.org/EBL. floridajobs.org/EBL. We've also activated the Florida Disaster Fund for those who want to make tax-deductible charitable contributions. They'll be used to be able to help Floridians who are in need, and you can go to floridadisasterfund.org, floridadisasterfund.org, if you have any questions. We're going to continue to support all remaining rescue missions that are underway and that may be needed in the near future. We'll also continue to assess the damage that was done from the storm. We also anticipate that because of the amount of water, you may see flooding happen not just now, but in the subsequent days. But I think everybody responded very quickly. I'm proud of everybody's hard work. We got more work to do, but we will absolutely get through this. Okay, Kevin Guthrie.
This is the state press conference on the response to Hurricane Milton.
Thank you for your leadership time and time again. I know you and the State Emergency Response Team will lead the charge as we respond to and recover from this storm. Hurricane Milton officially made landfall. As you heard the governor say, the impacts from the storm are still being felt across north and east central Florida, even right now as that last banding train of rain starts to move offshore. Please, especially if you're in the areas, if you're in those areas of northeast Florida, the east Race Coast, Space Coast, please make sure you're sheltering in place until officials determine it is safe for you to leave. In the first 72 hours after a storm, there is a parallel effort to search, secure, and stabilize the area. As search and rescue missions continue in response to Milton, please do not go out and visit the impacted areas. You will be inhibiting first responders by doing so. Right now, we need those roadways clear for electrical crews, fire crews, EMS crews, urban search and rescue crews. We have 20-something urban search and rescue teams that will move into the area and do a door-by-door search. Even though, as you heard the governor say, this was not the worst-case scenario, we still had damage. And we're going to need to get out there and go door-to-door and make sure that everyone is okay. So please stay off the road. Listen to your local authorities for updates on when it is safe to go outside and when it is safe for you to return to your homes. I know a lot of people evacuated, and we appreciate that. Do not be in a hurry. Check in with your local emergency management agency, your local sheriff's offices to see if they're posting anything on if it's safe to return home. Please make sure you do that. Again, as the governor said, we're going to open up roads and bridges so that you can do so, but there may be extenuating circumstances in the neighborhood level. So please make sure you're checking before you come back home. Major flooding continues along the Hillsborough, St. Johns, and Little Wekiva rivers. I want to take just a moment and just talk about there is going to be another phase to this particular incident, and that is very similar to Hurricane Ian. We have a lot of rain that has fallen over the central portion of Florida. The St. Johns River basin that comes down into Seminole County, Brevard, portions of Brevard, portions of Volusia County, and on up the St. Johns River, those headwaters have experienced a lot of rainfall. That river takes about 45 days to completely flush itself out to the Atlantic Ocean. So what we're going to be seeing first is impacts down in the Seminole County and surrounding county area. And then you'll see that move up into Palaca, Wfla, and then on up into St. John's, Flagler, Clay, Duval counties. So that's going to be a long-term effort when it comes to making sure that people are monitoring the situation on the St. Johns River, as well as the ones that I mentioned, Hillsborough and the Little Wekiva. Some roadways are flooded, which is not a safe situation for anyone. Please do not attempt to walk or drive through floodwaters. Accidents due to floodwaters are 100% preventable. All you got to do is turn around. If you're sheltered in place or when you return to your home and you're looking at the damages around your home right now, do one thing for us. Take out your phone, take some pictures. Inside and outside, all four sides of the house, every room inside the house. What are things that you should be documenting? make sure you're documenting just the physical damages, but then also, since this was a flooding event, we want to make sure that you capture those, what we call high water marks on your home. Do that inside and outside. For a point of reference, when you're on the outside of the home, make sure you get like the doorknob of the outdoor house. That'll give us a reference, a point of reference on how high that water got. If you're on the inside, make sure you have like an electrical socket or a light switch or again a door handle on the inside of your home in the picture so that we can get some type of reference as to how high that water is coming. If you're beginning the cleanup process, please ensure you're wearing the appropriate safety gear. Do not attempt to clean up hazardous debris or down power lines, as the governor has said. Report all of that to your local authorities. Do not cut any lines. Again, we do not need Florida man and Florida woman out there cutting random lines as they go. You don't know what is a cable line, you don't know what is an electrical line, and probably more importantly these days is you don't know what is a fiber optic line. Most of our 911 lines run across fiber optic. We do not want anybody cutting lines. Let the professionals come in here and identify what it is before it's cut. Remember, again, some roads are still dangerous due to flooding, debris, and potential downlines. Do not risk it. Let our crews get out there and get everything back up and running. For assistance after the storm, call State Assistance Information Line. Again, that's information only, 1-800-342-3557. Help is available in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. FloridaDisaster.org/updates for information on the web. And then, of course, follow us at FLSERT on X and Instagram, and Facebook at FDEM. That is the most trusted and fastest source that we have. We have several people helping us out on posting on social media, so that is going to be the best place and the fastest place to get stuff from us. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, again, as together we will overcome the storm.
Okay. Roger.
Again, this is a state press conference on Hurricane
Ladies
Milton.
and gentlemen, and thank you, Governor DeSantis, for reestablishing and resourcing this state guard so we can deliver critical emergency response capabilities right to the point of need. Working alongside Director Guthrie's, General Haas, and Director Young's and the rest of his state agencies, personnel moving rapidly in order to save lives, rescue our citizens, and minimize human suffering. Throughout the night and this morning, our Special Missions Unit with search and rescue, K-9, paramedic, and swiftwater rescue teams moved throughout the most severely impacted areas between Pasco and Sarasota counties, working with local authorities to provide on-water and overland search and rescue and route assessment capabilities. Our maritime unit is also engaged with FWC with 10 boat teams and high water vehicle teams in order to expand the capacity of the local county's abilities to conduct waterborne reconnaissance and search and rescue operations. Our aviation unit with Black Hawks and drones with live stream and 3D map rendering capabilities will begin conducting air operations today in coastal and inland community areas in order to enable those local authorities to paint the picture and focus their resources. Ladies and gentlemen, we are laser focused on search and rescue operations today.
Here's Governor DeSantis.
Good morning, everyone, and I'd like to also thank Governor DeSantis for his unwavering support during these times of critical need. We are fortunate and blessed to live in a state where the governor has such support for state agencies that put Floridians first. I would also thank DEM Director Kevin Guthrie for his outstanding leadership and support, and his DEM team for their coordination and communication with all state agencies, making us the leading leaders in the nation for emergency response. We're privileged and honored to be a part of that team. Responding to hurricanes and natural disasters is what we do. As FWC officers, we have
This is Roger Young from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission
and Director Guthrie to be able to provide immediate support in the wake of natural disasters and hurricanes. This is through the use of specialized equipment like shallow draft boats, airboats, swamp buggies, and other equipment to provide high water rescues. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. We have deployed 135 officers teamed up with the Florida State Guard, the Division of Finance Services Cut Teams, Florida Ag Law, the Florida National Guard, and the Miccosukee Tribe Law Enforcement, and local sheriff's offices up and down the coast and across the state to provide search and rescue efforts to those in greatest need. Teams with these specialized equipment for search and rescue across the state are hard at work right now. Our search and rescue efforts are ongoing, and so far this morning we've reported over 42 rescues in several counties. In Pinellas County, we've had so far 7 land rescues, 3 water rescues, several welfare checks. There were 2 arrested for looting for battery on LEO with our teams in the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, and 21 rescued from an apartment building. These rescues started yesterday in the wake of the tornadoes. We had 7 local FWC officers respond to a tornado event where they rescued 6 and evacuated 4, or were evacuated by 4x4 vehicles, and also conducted 30 welfare checks. In Pasco County, operations are ongoing, responding to multiple intersections, clearing trees and debris, allowing emergency vehicles to access storm-damaged areas, and responding to calls for service. In Hillsborough County, there are several people assisted from a vehicle in a ditch, 1 pulled from a flooded vehicle, 3 individuals removed from a flooded apartment, and then there was another 100 evacuated at an assisted living facility, and another 20 evacuated from a senior facility in Tampa. So again, these efforts are ongoing. They're ongoing across the state. Like Director Guthrie said, there is going to be flooding events across the state in central and northern Florida. So please be aware, if you're in a flood-prone area, be aware of this. Our teams will be able to respond and alert all through the state throughout this time. So again, I want to thank Governor DeSantis for his leadership and support, and FWC is here to work with our partners to make sure that the Floridians are safe during this event. Thank you.
Here's the governor.
We'll continue with the rescue operations as needed. There's a lot of damage assessments that are going to be going on today, and we're very obviously supportive of the power restoration operations. We're glad that all those folks were staged, and then also just ensuring that fuel is flowing. Hopefully we get our gas stations and big box stores and everything open very quickly. I'd imagine that will likely happen, and just get people back on their feet, and that's going to be our focus. Okay, any questions?
About Pinellas County, it's my understanding that deputies there are restricting access into the area. I don't know if you have any insight into that, or
I don't. I mean, we're going to open the bridges. I know a couple of them are open. The other 2, there's going to be debris that are going to be removed, and those bridges will be open for traffic, and Floridians can use those as they see fit.
I actually have an update here, and we'll cut away from the governor's press conference now. I have an update on that very question that was posed to Governor DeSantis. As of 8:45 a.m., access to Pinellas County, including the Barrier Islands, is now open. So that is a change that just came down moments ago. Access to Pinellas County, including the Barrier Islands, is now open.
So the Sunshine Skyway is still closed. The Howard Franklin is open. The Gandy Bridge is open. And the Courtney Campbell Causeway eastbound is open, but the westbound lanes are still closed.
Yeah, so look, things are starting to open up. Doesn't mean officials want you out and traveling if you don't have to, because while the bridges are now open and there is access to Pinellas County, once you get into Pinellas County, you don't know what you're going to experience or come across, as they're still assessing the situation and clearing debris.
Yeah, there's still a lot of down trees. There are still a lot of down power lines. There's still a lot of floodwaters. So you're better off just staying put, because chances are you could drive all the way over there and not even be able to get to where you need to be. I was also looking at video of a rescue in Clearwater. There's an apartment building where you could see the police boats going up, and people were walking down, and the water was up so that they wouldn't have been able wouldn't have been able to get out of that building. And at that apartment complex, the water was up to over the hoods of cars. And then there's also a video in Pasco County that shows just a number of huge trees down across the road. And it's going to take some time to clear that debris. And I know in Pasco County, there were like 26 roads that were closed. So I'm sure they're out working on it, but it is going to take time.
Yeah, I mean, some of the debris, some of the down trees, it's going to take a minute to be able to clear paths so people can come and go safely. There was a tornado that hit Palm Beach Gardens yesterday. And this tornado was so powerful. This image is just incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. A dumpster ended up on the roof of a home.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking that one up right now. Then we saw earlier the video or the pictures of the car that slammed up against the garage. It was
the car was vertical.
Was like leaning up against the garage.
Right. So just some of these tornadoes, the damage that they inflicted on these communities, on these neighborhoods, it is just incredible. The power of these tornadoes. I mean, to lift a dumpster, like that's a big dumpster too, and just put it on top of a house.
Yeah, and this was an area that was not anticipating this type of damage. You know, the storm was coming towards the Tampa Bay area, towards the Gulf Coast, and so to have so much damage, you know, further towards the east coast of Florida when they weren't expecting it, a lot of people were really caught off guard yesterday by all those tornadoes.
We do have 4 confirmed deaths due to Hurricane Milton. They're associated with one of the tornadoes that hit yesterday, but there's still a lot that we're learning this morning as officials and first responders and emergency services get out into communities up and down the state and assess the damage and conduct many rescue operations as well. When we come back, more of our live and local iHeartRadio operation.
WFLA Tampa, WXTV HD2 Clearwater. Listening on the free iHeartRadio app, thanks to Farah and Farah. It's never been easier to send your opinions directly to your favorite show. When you open the app, click the red talkback microphone and hit send. Farah and Farah, here to make it easy, Tampa.